Multiple choice exams are some of the most feared exams in all of university. They're so feared because 1, there's no part marks, 2, it's impossible to fight for extra grades, and 3, they are so tough. A little secret between you and me, as somebody who's written exams for over 10 years as a professor, well, we make the same flaws year over year. We have the same style, the same structure, the same sort of questions, and if you can identify what those patterns are, you will be able to crush your exam. So in this video, I'm going to expedite your learning curve and give you the 10 biggest tips for you to ace your multiple choice exam. Hey guys, I'm Mike. I'm an organizational behavior professor at the Ted Rogers School of Management. And in weekly videos, I leverage my student and professor experiences to help you better manage your student life. I generally don't talk about topics learned in the classroom, but learned the hard way throughout uni. So if you are in uni or will be soon, hit subscribe, smash the like, make sure the notification tab is on, and check out my weekly videos. And in this week's video, it's probably the most important video for any first-year undergrad student, and that is how to ace your multiple choice exam. Okay, my first tip is to sit directly behind the smartest person you know, because if they get an 8, will I get in trouble for saying that? Okay, my first tip is to read the question very carefully. I know that sounds really easy to read the entire question, but a lot of students get so excited when they're in the middle of the exam, so they just read part of the question and then jump right to the answer. I know what it is. Some stealthy professors will give an old exam question during class or during some sort of like practice midterm or practice final exam session, and then they'll just change one little detail in the final exam. Some students will think, great, it's the exact same question on the exam, but if they don't read it carefully and in its entirety, they're gonna miss that little nuance and they get the question wrong on the exam. When in doubt, always go with C, or is it D? Or E? No, it's B, definitely not A. All right, my next tip is to use the process of elimination. Essentially what you're going to be doing is eliminating the answers that you know are completely wrong in order to deduce what the correct answer is. Now, there's actually a strategic approach to do this, and that involves 2 steps. The first step is to read the question and then to skim through all of the answers, crossing out the ones that you know just flat out are wrong. Oftentimes professors will throw in 2 or 3 options that you know are just like flat out wrong. Okay, so once you've eliminated those, you're generally down to 2, maybe if you're unlucky, 3 options. Okay, once you're down to those options, you should reread the question. Okay, now rereading the question and keeping in mind those 2 options. Okay, well, does this question make sense? Would this answer make sense based on this specific question? Okay, so you should be able to, after greater focus and greater concentration, hopefully be able to deduce one answer from these 2. And if not, you still get a 50-50 guess, flip of a coin, because you've already drilled it down to 2 options. So my next exam tip is to go through the entire exam relatively quickly and answer only the questions that you know are right. This serves a couple purposes. 1, this helps from time management perspective. So if it's 100 questions on the exam and you skim through and you can get approximately 70 right, that's great. And then you can circle back to take a little bit more time on those other questions. This also builds up a little bit of confidence with you. Because if you look at the first couple questions, you're like, damn, this is gonna take a lot of time. I'm really struggling, I don't know what to do. It might get in your head and actually prevent you from thinking clearly for the rest of the exam. But if you're skimming through some of the questions quick and you're getting a hold of them and you know that you're getting them right, that'll build up your confidence and that'll give you more time later on to circle back so that you'll be able to think clearer when you're writing those questions. My next exam tip is to verify your answers with other questions on the multiple choice exam. Now, oftentimes professors will ask multiple questions about the same topic. We approach it from multiple different angles to see whether students actually truly understand a particular topic. Now, while this is great for us, it's also pretty beneficial for students, because what you can do is if you're struggling on a question related to one topic, you can scan the exam to see whether there are other questions related to that exact same topic. Typically, when students are struggling on a question, it's not that you've completely missed studying it altogether. It's typically you've studied it, but you just can't re-jog your memory during the actual exam. But if you're scanning and you see other questions, that might help you remember things related to that topic, which will actually help you answer that question. My next tip is to pay attention to keywords. Sure, you should be paying attention to all words, but some words are more important than others, particularly the words that can change the entire meaning of a sentence. So not, never, always, sometimes can play a big role in changing the meaning of a sentence. So say, for example, the sky is blue. That's the base. The sky is not blue. The sky is always blue. The sky is sometimes blue, and the sky is never blue. Changing one word in the sentence can completely change the sentence. So when you're reading it, read the question slow, focus on words that can completely change the meaning, and it will be very helpful to make sure that you're not missing the meaning of what professors may intentionally or unintentionally be trying to do to the question. Okay, so if your exam does not allow you to have cheat sheets, then this is going to be an important tip for you. So the first thing that I recommend you do when you get your exam booklet or exam sheet or Scantron is write down all the formulas or things you're unable to remember. So in other words, when the professor or invigilator is coming around with giving you the exams, well, typically they'll say put away all your notes, but you're going to have your notes, you're going to have that thing that you're struggling with studying and memorizing while keeping it ahead, keeping it in front of you. As soon as they say to put away your notes, you put it away, think about it, you get the exam, and before you even look at the questions, when they're asking you to fill out your name, write down all of the formulas, all the concepts, everything, all the processes you're struggling with. You've almost made like a mini cheat sheet on your exam booklet. Totally allowed, but you just have to literally remember things for a minute rather than remember things for hours or over an entire night. So my next exam tip is to sit beside somebody who has a really loud voice, so that when they ask the professor a question, the professor's given them a suggestion on that particular question, you'll be able to use it and it'll help you write your exam. Really, it will. My next tip is to manage your time. I know when students get into exams, they get super stressed and they get carried away and they get focused on some questions rather than others. So what you should do when you first walk into the exam, or even before you get into the exam, know how long the exam is and how many questions you have. Divide that out, so you should figure out halfway through the exam how many questions into the exam should you be. That will ensure that you have enough time to fully concentrate at the end of the exam when you know that you're going to be a little bit more tired, you're a little bit more stressed, and you're going to probably need a little bit more time for each individual question. If you're using a Scantron to fill out the multiple choice exam, then make sure you've bubbled in all of the answers with as dark a color as possible. I know it sounds silly, but use the pencil over the pen. Don't use a light pencil, use a dark pencil. Follow through, because I don't know how many times I've been reviewing old exam Scantrons that students have done, and I can see multiple answers shaded in really gray. I don't know whether the machine, like the technology that's used to scan these things, has correctly identified the answer that you want. Can you imagine studying for hours, stressing about an exam, stressing about a question during the exam, and then not even knowing whether you got the right answer because you didn't scribble in the circle like dark enough? So when you're going through, make sure you scribble in all of the answers dark enough, firmly enough within the circle, so all of your answers, your student number, so professors know whose exam is whose, as well as the version of the exam. I don't know how many times I would go through and then I have to, as a professor, I have to guess, is this version A or version B? You get 50% on both, so I don't know which one you actually got. So please, student number, all of your answers, version as dark, as firm as possible. All right, my next and last tip for multiple choice questions is to learn what the common wrong answers are. I know when I said at the beginning of the video, professors have trouble making exams. Yes, we make the same exams about the same question, about the same concepts, but we try to write the questions in a slightly different way. However, this is tough to actually write about the same questions over and over a different way. So we actually use the same formula when writing the wrong answers. And if you know what those formulas are and how we write those wrong answers, you're more likely to zero in on what the actual correct answer is. So I'm going to go through 4 common wrong answer types right now. The first is to have an error in the chronological order of something. So if I ask what are the steps in the process, and all of the steps might be in a particular option, but they could be in the wrong order. So it's not only important you identify what the steps are, but identify what the steps are in a particular order. So order matters. The next way I like to throw people off is if I give an option that's true, but it's entirely relevant. So if I'm asking for a definition of concept X, I'm likely to have 4 or 5 different correct definitions, but they're just related to a different concept. I might have one correct definition, that's the one that the answer is. I'm gonna have another correct definition, but it's for a concept that's completely irrelevant to the question. And then I'm gonna have 3 other bogus answers that you know are incorrect, so that'll leave you with 2 tough ones. Well, really, one is entirely irrelevant. And if you can identify that that is a common wrong answer, that'll help you zero in on the right answer. The next way I like to throw people off is having a true but extreme answer. So anytime an answer option has the word always or never in it, it's probably going to be wrong. So just cross it off, because in life, rarely does something always or never happens. Or it's typically rarely, or sometimes, or maybe. It's context. Life is gray. Another option that I use to throw people off is having the exact opposite in the answer. So if I'm asking a question and the correct option is something is increasing over time, so I will 100% have as another option that something is decreasing over time. For me, that's an easy option to add. It throws people off. It makes sure that you understand trending over time. You need to be aware that professors will often include the term that is completely opposite, or the answer that's completely opposite to what the question is really asking. All right, guys, that's it. That is my video on multiple choice exam tips. If you found this video helpful or want to learn more tips on how to better manage your student life, hit subscribe, smash the like, make sure the notification tab is on, and check out my video next week. Until then, take care.